So we're talking about recommendations here, right? Because how have you been passing the time? What have you been watching? I feel like now's the time to be binge watching certain shows, and there's a couple ways you can go at it, right? Some people you have where they're saying, "Hey, this is a good time to go back and watch some classics," right? Like I've always wanted to rewatch The Sopranos. Maybe I should do that. How have you been looking at this, Webby? Have you been seeking out new shows? Have you binge watched anything so far? And if you have, what has that show been?
Well, you should definitely go back and watch The Sopranos because that is, in my opinion, the best show that has ever been on TV.
Never a bad idea to watch The
That's
Sopranos.
my number one for sure. No, well, I was very excited because actually, like, it's so funny now. It seems like at the beginning of every month we get a whole new slate of awesome shows or movies that are being released on these streaming sites. Like almost as many that would come out in a whole year come out now in a month, and I
Yeah.
find myself sometimes falling behind. Right, so there's a couple of shows that are that have come out this month that I've been really into. So one that came out a little while ago on Netflix is called Narcos Mexico. Now
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with the original Narcos. It was also a
I
Netflix show.
I did watch the original, yes.
Yeah, about Pablo Escobar, right? So that's super sweet. I thought it was awesome. So Narcos Mexico, though, is about how the cartels in Mexico started, and it's funny. The guy who plays Pablo makes a little cameo in this as well. But
Okay.
it's got some awesome actors that you'd definitely recognize. So the first is
Okay.
Diego Luna, who's
Okay.
a Mexican actor that you would know, and then the other one is here I'm going to look it up right now. What was
Okay.
End of Watch? He's the Mexican guy from End of Watch with Jake Gyllenhaal, where they were cops.
I
What is
think I've
that?
seen that. I'm not really sure if I've seen that movie before. I
And it's
mean,
like found footage. It's like it's all done through their dash
oh, it's all
cams.
done through their dash cams, and yeah, yeah, yeah. I haven't
Yeah,
seen that
it's an
movie, but that is
underrated
something that I
movie.
should put on the list. I should put that on the list
So
just for how they shot it.
Michael Pena. Michael Pena is the guy's name.
Ah, yes, 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 for sure.
So he plays a DEA agent, and then it's so good, and so that got me into like kind of like drug dealing shows, and
Okay.
then Amazon Prime just
Yeah.
dropped this series called 000, and I just started it, and it's all the episodes are out right now on Amazon Prime.
Hold on. Is this something to do with Sam Mitchell or no?
Yeah, no, it's Rafer Alston, right? Wasn't it Rafer Alston who had the
Was he
zero?
talking? Well, I don't remember who the 0000
Got
was
a lot
about
of
in
guys
particular.
here.
Sorry,
Uh,
I interrupted you. My bad. My bad.
No, it's so good. That would be amazing if it was about like the 2000 and what was it, 2008 Raptors team.
That's what the 30 for 30 is called.
Yeah, 000. No, this okay. So this show is about a large cocaine deal
Okay.
that does not go so well, and it's told through three different kind of points of view. The buyers, who are an Italian mob family, the sellers, who are a Mexican drug cartel, and then the facilitators, which is this family in New Orleans who owns a shipping company, and
Okay.
it is badass. There
Okay.
is
Okay.
there's lot of action going on. The Mexican guy, he's like a turned Mexican DEA agent, and he is a bad man.
Okay.
He
Okay.
is a bad man. And then
Okay.
the grandfather of the Italian mob family, also bad man.
Okay. Okay. I
I
like it. I
zero
like it.
zero zero zero. That's the one. Like that's my prestige show, right? Like that's the show that's very, you can tell your highfalutin friends, that you're watching a good. It's not like Below Deck, which I know we're
So,
both watching.
well, here's the thing, right? Because I haven't gotten here yet. I haven't gotten into, I'm going to deep dive into blank great drama or great dramatic show yet, right? Like that, I haven't
Right,
gotten to
right.
that point. What I've been doing to pass the time because I really don't know what to do with myself. Like it's been so weird. And so I've been watching just randomness and I've watched a bunch of YouTube stuff, which I'll get to later on, but I've been on reality TV. So I've been watching, I tried to watch. You're gonna get mad at me here. You're gonna get mad at me. I'll say this.
Why would I get
Or
mad at you
people
about
people
bad?
listening are gonna get mad at me for sure because I've never watched Breaking Bad, right? And so a couple weeks ago, I was talking at work and I was saying, yeah, I haven't seen Breaking Bad, and it's really just because I know myself in and how I watch television, and it's one of those things where I need an extended time off because I'll just like stay up all night watching episodes. Like
Yeah,
literally the sun will be coming up and I'll just be like, all right, one more episode. And I'll just
that's how
keep
I
going.
watched. That's how I watched the first two seasons of Breaking Bad.
So when this happened, obviously it's like, oh, okay, I guess this is a time now that I should probably watch Breaking Bad. So a couple nights ago, but the problem was I think it was early on in this social distancing. We're still trying to like figure out everything, your body clock, how you're eating, right? Because everything's thrown off, right? Like I haven't gotten into a regular routine of how you're eating, what you're eating, when you're waking up, when you're like going for a walk. Like I haven't gotten used to any of that. And it was even way worse 2 days ago when I tried to watch Breaking Bad. And so I was a bit in a food coma. I was a bit like a bit too many spiced rums in,
There's
right?
never too many spiced rums.
But I mean, I was, when you get in that comfy groove on the couch and you're sitting down and then that
Oh
sit down
yeah.
turns to a lay down. That's what
Oh yeah.
happened. And I was just out. So I'm like falling asleep, but trying to stay awake. And I'm only maybe 2 episodes in. Like, dude's spoiler alert, even though I'm doing air quotes right now because it's kind of ridiculous to have a spoiler alert for a show that came out over a decade ago. But early episodes when the dude's still in in the basement and they're trying to figure out
Yeah.
what to do with the guy, and I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, just fucking kill the guy already. This is being dragged out for so long. This is so stupid. And I'm like drifting. I'm like falling asleep, trying to stay awake but trying to watch, and it's just not working. So eventually, I like doze off. I don't even know when I woke up or what episode it was when I woke up, and I'm like, I can't watch this right now because I'm just clearly falling asleep. So I got a drink of water, sat back down, and I'm like, okay, I need to like just watch something else right now because I'm not going to bed. And I ended up watching 7 straight episodes of Below Deck. And I'll be honest, I would not normally admit that, but in these times where I feel like this is a safe
Safe
space and we're
space.
just
Safe
sharing,
space.
7 episodes of Below Deck, I was in. I was entertained. I can't even lie. It was
Now, are
like
you
sailing at
regular
sea or something like that.
regular below deck or you
No.
Mediterranean?
I think it was like sailing at sea or something like that. Like the big
Oh,
thing
sure.
was this yacht you could also sail. That was like the big thing.
Oh, okay.
So I never really watched Below Deck. I would always see the promos for it. I
It's
always
so
huge shout
good.
out to my guy Dave Jacoby and Juliet Littman from their old podcast, The Right Reasons,
I
which
know.
they actually brought
I,
back right now.
I started watching it like a little while ago, Below Deck, because
Yeah.
the wife got that thing on Amazon where it has all the reality shows, and
Yes,
so
yes,
I was
yes.
like bored, and so I started getting into Below Deck, and I tweeted at Jalen and Jacoby or Jacoby and Juliet. I was like, "Oh my god, I should have totally taken your advice to watch this show
Yeah, they used
six
to love
years
that show.
ago." Yeah.
Oh, they were huge supporters of that show, and I never watched it, right? Never really watched episodes. And then I don't even know why I ended up watching it now. It was just because, oh, do you know what I did actually? I was flicking channels. That's what it was. I was actually like going through the guide, seeing what's on TV right now. That's how like out of sorts I was in terms of what to do. Because let's be honest, in 2020, how often do we just sit on TV and like go through the guide to see what's on? I never do that. It's always like, I know what I'm going to watch right now and I'm going right to it, or it's on my PVR or whatever. But flicking around, I saw Below Deck. I watched like 5 minutes of a segment and I was like, you know what? I'm going to the start of an episode. And I just went to it. And yeah, 7 episodes later, I'm like, yo, this was pretty funny. You have there's so many just funny dynamics to the
Oh.
show. And the one episode, I don't want to do a Below Deck deep dive, but the one episode, it was like a guy's trip, and it was just these bros from like Long Island, and they were just so drunk and just annoying and just like shitheads that I was just
Oh.
watching this and thinking, I really hope I don't have friends that are like this. Like, I hope I don't know anybody who's like this. Like, it was just so ridiculous. But I was entertained. And it's such a great, when I watch these reality shows, I also think of it from like a production standpoint in terms of putting together shows.
Oh
And it's
yeah,
super interesting to me in the sense that it doesn't follow the, oh, here's one charter or one vacation per episode. It mixes and matches, right? So you might get, something becomes a little too boring. Oh, well, this group's over, they're off the boat. Now we got this new group on the boat that are
yeah.
taking it out on the charter. And I thought that was cool. So I
Yeah,
don't know. I was
some
hooked.
groups, some charters, nothing really happens, and so it's only
Exactly.
like a half an episode. But so it's funny that you brought up, just kind of flipping channels. So where I am now, like my father-in-law, he's got a PVR, and so
Hmm.
part of my routine being home
Hmm.
now is to like wake up and go through all the movie channels,
Okay.
and whether it's like Stars or HBO or whatever, and then
Yep.
go and find movies that I haven't seen or maybe I haven't seen in a little while, and then record them. So I did this the other day, and this was a couple of days into all the stuff that's going on, and I downloaded this movie just because I had heard about it through podcasts and whatever, Twitter.
Hmm.
I recorded. It's called Unfriended-Dark Web. All
Okay.
right, and I've never seen Unfriended 1, but I heard Unfriended-Dark Web was worth it. Was really
Okay.
like
Okay.
creative, and it's so funny. I was watching this movie, and it's about these five friends, and it all takes place on a computer. So what you
Okay.
see is the desktop of the main character, and
Uh-huh.
he's got just like tomorrow. I've got a buddy who's having a birthday party, and it's a Google Hangout. So
That's
everybody's gonna have a
amazing.
little. Everybody's gonna have a little box. We're all gonna be having a drink or two, whatever. But it's like that, but only it's a horror movie.
Okay.
As these like hackers or whatever are like picking off every single one of these people that he has on his desktop, all of his buddies. Anyway,
Mm.
I thought it was a really, really creative way to do a like kind of a scary thriller horror movie like this, but definitely so relevant in the times that we are in right now. Just with
I
all the
gotcha. I
different
gotcha.
windows. Oh, it was really good. So if you see it out there, I can't recommend Unfriended to Dark Web enough. And
Okay.
then the other one too was the night after the basketball canceled the season or
Okay.
suspended the season.
Yeah. Yeah.
I watched Contagion.
Of course he did. I
I
heard
don't know if
did they do a rewatchables? I
they
think they did,
did.
dude.
They did a rewatchables. I had no idea they were doing that, but I like watched it and then they did it. And just because I hadn't seen it in a couple of years, and it was like
Yeah.
I'm getting serious Contagion vibes from what's going on.
I
Man,
love the
that
rewatchables, by the way.
oh, they're doing 2 a week now. It's so good. But if you've never seen Contagion, watch that shit because it's pretty crazy and it's
I
very
don't know if I
relevant
want
to
to
what's
watch
going on.
that. I'll be honest. I don't know if I want to watch that normally, and I don't know if I want to watch that right now.
Oh man, oh man,
Like, I think, you know what? I honestly think this might be why I'm in this like weird wormhole of like weird reality TV,
escapist. Yeah,
or I've been watching like YouTube interviews, right? So it's like the Knuckleheads podcast. I've been watching like a bunch of episodes of that. Like I just been watching like random shit because I feel like when I turn on to watch a movie or something serious, I'm like, I don't want to watch something serious right now. I don't know. I think that's the headspace I'm in. I'm trying to like analyze myself right now in the moment, trying to figure out why I'm watching Siesta Key at like 4 a.m. the other night. I'm like, why can't I go to sleep right now? This is ridiculous. But just terrible reality TV. Although not terrible reality TV, I stand by firmly Vanderpump Rules, which is in the middle of a season right now.
I gotta
Jax's
get
wedding.
into it.
Jax's wedding is going on right now. Big things going on there. So highly recommended there. What else have I been watching? Oh, I've been watching Big Brother Canada, although I'm about to stop watching Big Brother Canada.
All
And
right, you mentioned this a little while ago. You got to bring this
so
up because I've not been watching it. I need to know what's happening.
so I don't know what happened tonight, but I see that there was a video by the host. like late tonight, like as we were setting up to do this, there was a post by the host, and I just saw one of my friends, one of our friends actually, Niche, respond to it
Yeah.
very negatively. Like he's not happy with whatever she had to say, whatever the
Oh
host had
no.
to say.
Oh no.
Let me see if I can find it. I'm not gonna listen to it right now, but whatever. Oh, so she put a reset button, BB Canada 8, and his comment just said cowards. So I don't know what that means. I don't know what happened, but there's a 5-minute video from the host. And either way, I think I'm out because here's the thing. Going into the season, I wasn't going to watch. I never watched Big Brother Canada, right? I
Yeah,
always watch the American one. So this time I'm like, all right, I got time. I'm in. Big Brother Canada, I'm going to give you guys a shot. And I really liked the casting that they did with this season, because what normally happens on all reality shows, but especially ones like this and especially on Big Brother, the US version, is the cast is very stereotypical, right? Which means they'll have, here's the black guy that's like the black guy or black girl that's like super angry and mad
Right.
all the time.
Here's the gay guy. Yeah.
Here's a gay guy. Here's the dumb blonde.
Yeah.
Here's the huge jock. Here's the old person that's going to
It's
get
the real
voted off
world,
first.
the real world equation.
But they do it, and it's like so ridiculously stereotypical, and it's the same beats they're hitting all the time. But on this cast that they had for Big Brother, I give them a lot of credit because, there's multiple minorities on the show, right? So, like, you have a black girl, you have a black guy, and it's not the stereotypical, like, oh, this person's just angry and mad. Or they have multiple blonde girls, and it's not like, oh, this is just a dumb blonde, right? So it's showing you subconsciously that, like, hey, you know what? You can have multiple people that look the same or come from the same background, but they're different personalities. Imagine that, right? And I guess we're more like, being from Toronto, like, we have a different viewpoint of all that, of course, but seeing that on a reality show is like, oh, this is kind of refreshing. I'm in. And then maybe 7 episodes in, because I don't know where they're at now, and I haven't even seen the episode yet, but it leaked online already. So this one guy who might have been one of the funniest people on, his name's Jamar, and he's a black guy, or Jammer, and he's a black guy from like Ajax, but he is like a jokes like Scarborough man's. And anyone from Toronto knows exactly what I'm talking about when I say Scarborough man's. Like, he just jokes. So you got the slang, you got the lingo. He's just funny. He was funny in the house. And so a clip leaked online where he was arguing with another player, right? And while he was arguing with the other player, at one point he like walks away and he's like, oh, you wouldn't even talk to me like that if we weren't in the house. And he's just like, you wouldn't even talk to me like that in the house like that. You wouldn't talk to me to my face like that. You wouldn't talk to me like that out of the house. And he said something along the lines of, as he's walking away, and he's like, yo, man, this is so dumb. And he's like, people don't talk to other people like that. People get popped for stuff like that. Right? And that's what he said. And so
they thought they
took it as, no, but they took it as like, he's threatening them. They took that as to say that he said he was going to pop the person or kill the person or shoot the person. Like, they took it like literally, as if like this kid on Big Brother was actually saying, I'm gonna get someone to shoot you, which is completely ridiculous. So my guy ends up getting kicked off the show, or I'm assuming that's what happened, because all of a sudden Twitter was just like, I stand with Jamar. You had all these people coming out speaking on it, and he ends up getting kicked off the show. And obviously people are mad because they're just like, this is dumb. Right? Like, it's just stupid. And so when something like that happens, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to watch anymore, because this is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous that it would be that dumb that you're going to take something like that, someone just speaking in slang, that like anyone knows that that's not a serious threat.
No.
Plus, on these reality shows, people fight way worse than that. And he wasn't even screaming. He didn't even raise his voice. But the fact that the other person was like, are you threatening me? Like, that made it into a thing where, oh no, we got to stop this and we got to kick the guy off. So I don't know what ended up happening, but because of the fuckery as is, I think I'm out on Big Brother Canada.
What was that old, you would definitely know this, the old like bootleg DVD that was going around of like in the Scarborough projects and all the Kids rolling. Yeah, I
I
know
want to
you
say,
know what this is.
I want to say Smack. No, that was a U.S. one, right?
Just a walk around ting.
Yeah, yeah,
All
yeah,
those
yeah.
guys
Oh, what am
talking.
I? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, and then was it T Dot Goon Squad or something like that?
Something
Because
like that.
because those guys ended up getting a deal with like Much Music or something, and they
Really?
were like, I think they did. I think they ended up doing like videos or something for Much Music, but it ended up being a big deal because Drake went on one of them, right?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
what you're
yeah.
talking
Yeah,
about?
I think
Yeah, yeah,
so.
yeah.
Oh, what were
But it
the?
was just like it was just so dumb. It was just like such a
Yeah,
dumb storyline that like, okay, what are we doing right now? Like this is a
I'll tell you what
reality
they're.
TV show.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what they're doing. They're using this to drum up interest in Big Brother Canada because now, no matter how they handle it, they've got engagement with people like Niche who are getting up in arms about getting this kid kicked out, and
Yeah,
it's like normally I would never know what Big Brother Canada is, but now even
it's true.
you just told me there was something going on, and now what do I have up on my TV right now? Big
Well,
Brother
you're gonna
Canada.
click on the Twitter and you're gonna see what's going on. Which is as much as I say I'm not gonna watch, I'm gonna see what happened so I can
Exactly,
actually be mad.
and
And
that's
then
why that's what the producers want, right? That's what they want.
it's amazing. It's actually amazing. But yeah, I've been
Now,
watching ridiculous reality TV, Webby. I
now
haven't.
speaking of ridiculous reality TV, did you watch the Love Is Blind?
No. See, and here's a hypocrisy in like my ridiculous nature.
Yeah, yeah.
I always try to say that I have a line, right? Like I admit I watch ridiculous television, but I always like to think that I have a line where I draw the line and I'm like, no, I will not watch this show. And when someone broke down Love Is Blind to me, I'm like, nah, I'm not watching that.
Bro,
So like
I thought it was fake the first like
I don't
four
even
episodes.
so like I don't even watch The Bachelor. Like I'll tune in when like the real fuckery starts happening, like when they have the overnights, and then
Yeah.
I'll watch like the end when like it's
When
just
Dude's
fuckery going
mom
on.
came out, that I didn't even watch it this time, but I was reading about it.
So
So
I watched like the end of it, right? I watched the end
yeah,
of The Bachelor, and that was like funny, but I'm not sitting here watching like 2 hours every single week from the beginning. Nah, nah, nah. I'm not doing that. I have a line. And so Love Is Blind was one of those things where I'm like, someone was describing it to me. I'm like, nah, this sounds really stupid and super fake. And
sounds
I
really
know
stupid
all reality TV is fake. Like, no,
and stupid.
Jax and Stassi do not work at Lisa
Yeah,
Vanderpump's.
right.
Like, they don't work as bartenders there. Like, that's fake. Like, I get it. But, like, I'm able to suspend that little bit of reality. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can suspend that little bit of disbelief. Whereas Love Is Blind. Like nobody's sitting in some isolated room and talking to someone. Like that's not. No, I can't do it. Not doing it.
No,
I say that now.
it was wild.
I'll say this, Webby. I'll say that now while we're still in single digits of my social distancing.
Yeah,
Talk to me once we
100%.
get
I
into.
was gonna say 100%. You're gonna crack, and you're gonna end up watching Love Is Blind and being like, "What am I doing? These people are idiots."
So I need you guys to help me, the people watching and listening to this podcast. Send us some of your recommendations, what you guys are watching, so that I don't end up watching Love Is Blind, or give us your Love Is Blind takes, right? Because we could be here maybe you could convince me to watch Love Is Blind. I don't know, but send us your comments, questions, what you guys are watching for sure. We always love your recommendations, opening it up to you guys as well, and also too the challenge is
No.
coming.
Oh
No,
yeah.
go on. What were you gonna say? What were you gonna say?
Well, I was going to say the other one is the one that we didn't get a chance to talk about here in the past that was very relevant to our conversations usually when the league is on. But have you seen Uncut Gems yet?
I have seen Uncut Gems.
And-
What did you? Okay, you've seen it, right?
oh, listen, KG, can you do me one favor? Just one favor, KG. Just stay off the glass. If you don't lean on the glass.
So, movie recommendations. Uncut Gems is a great call, Webby. I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it, But the one thing I will say, it was another example of when you almost hear someone describe a movie a little bit too much,
Yes.
and then it affects how you watched it.
Yeah.
So I thought it was really good, but multiple people before I watched it, they were describing it to me as, oh man, it was so intense. Like I was sitting on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
Like I was so nervous watching it, and so that changed my viewing of it. And I was watching it thinking, okay, yeah, I kind of get what they were saying, but I wasn't really that like sitting on
No.
the edge of my seat. Like I was just watching it and enjoying it. But then it hit me. I was like, oh, these people don't bet on sports.
Right. Right.
So I was like, oh, and I mean like really bet on sports. Like I'm not talking like pro line, whatever. I'm saying like, you've never lost like $200 on some stupid, you know,
On
because someone
K-
backdoor covered, right? Do you
on
know what I mean?
KG lost the tip. You know? That was my favorite one at the end when he's like, "Oh, that's the hardest one to get out of the way."
Which I heard isn't even something you can actually bet on,
No, no, you
right?
can't.
Like that's
There was
a
a
fake. Like
there
that's
was a
just
bunch of shit in that
they
movie.
exaggerated that. But
Yeah,
I thought it was a real. But with all that said, I still thought it was a really good movie. I thought KG did a good job. I thought Adam Sandler was really good. Like
yeah.
I
And how
didn't.
good is Lakeith Stanfield, man? He can play so many different roles. Like that guy's an outstanding actor. Like as soon as I saw him in Atlanta, I was like, this guy's great. And then I saw him in another great movie called Sorry to Bother You.
Okay.
And that was like the first thing I'd seen him like star in. But man, that guy's friggin' he's gonna be a star, man.
I saw a trailer the other day of like rom com with him
Yes,
and
and
what's homegirl? Homegirl
Issa,
from Insecure, Issa Rae.
yeah.
And I was just like, yo, this dude is getting his like Denzel on in this movie. Do you
I
know what I
was
mean?
supposed-
Like his smooth like Morris Chestnut on in this movie. And further to your point, I'm like, yo, you're right. His range, like he is an incredible actor because
Yeah,
the
man.
way that he's able to play all these different characters and these completely different characters and pull them off and make each one believable. It's so good. I thought he was incredible in that movie.
Yeah, he was.
Sandler, I also thought did a really good job as well.
Oh, he was good. Even and the girl, I thought the girl was really good. His like
Yes.
girlfriend.
The Mistress.
Yeah, she was incredible.
Yeah, it was a really good movie. And I always like those movies too where I like how The Weekend was The Weekend and KG was KG. And
When
like
KG
how
was
you
KG.
plug the yes, like when exactly. And I thought that was really cool. But what did you make of, just the talk of the other people who were supposed to play the KG role? So
Oh
it bounced
well,
around a bunch.
who was supposed to originally going to play it.
Well, I don't know if it was originally, but I'm glad it didn't happen. The last person before KG was supposed to be Joel Embiid,
Oh,
right?
would have been.
And I'm so
good.
glad that didn't happen. No, I will say though, I have a huge distaste for Joel Embiid, which I know you have a huge love
'cause
affair for Joel Embiid.
again because you're a Toronto fan. Like dude, the last dude.
No,
his
because he's a huge loser. That's why.
No, you're a huge loser. His the last highlight, and I was just like kind of going through what like because I was a little sad about the
Yeah.
no NBA, and I was going through
Yeah.
what had happened that last night of games. Do you realize what one of the last highlights of the NBA season is? Is Mike Scott dunking all over somebody, and Joel Embiid then giving him the suck it sign when he's on the ground.
That's your man's.
That's
your
100%.
man's, Kate.
I ride for Embiid 100%.
I know you do, but I'm glad that he was not in Uncut Gems. I am intrigued though by the fact that at one point they thought maybe they were trying to get Kobe to do it.
Yeah,
Which
or
I don't know how
what
that
was
would have
it?
played out.
Those guys who directed Uncut Gems are awesome. The Safdie
Yeah.
brothers.
And it
Yeah,
was
they're-
Amari originally, right?
Yeah, it was Amari originally. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was super interesting. But at the end of the day, KG did a really good job. And it was funny. I was just watching,
fantastic.
as I mentioned, I've been watching a lot of like YouTube videos and YouTube like interviews stuff, right? So like different podcasts. So like the Knuckleheads podcast, I've been watching a bunch of those. And I
And
watched the
dude,
episode
you-
with KG.
Tell the people because I just looked it up. I was like, Knuckleheads podcast. I've heard of it. But
Oh
holy
yeah, the
shit,
Knuckleheads
man.
podcast is it's with Darius Miles and Quentin Richardson. Host
Like,
a podcast for
what?
I forget what brand it's for. Is it for the Players Tribune? Or
Yeah,
something?
Players
Or-
Tribune. Yeah.
and so they host a podcast where they just have whoever on and they just tell stories the whole time, and it's really good.
Yeah,
Like,
I
you
am
wouldn't
watching
picture-
that shit.
Yeah, like I didn't know much about D Miles his like personality per se, but he's a really good interviewer, right? And I think they do
Yeah.
a really good job of like getting guys who they have on to tell stories. And so I watched maybe 5 to 10 of those. Like KG, I watched the Shaq one, I watched the Paul Pierce one. Like it's really good, and they tell some really good stories. But the KG one, he was talking
Steve
about
Nash is on there.
the Steve Nash one was Canadian basketball fans. The Steve Nash one is really good because they talk a lot about 7 seconds or less Suns
Yeah.
that first year and how good they were. And, you know, Quentin Richardson actually tells a good story about, I'm not ruining anything, but he tells a good story about how the salary cap number changed like as they were about to sign, and he was going to sign the same time as Steve Nash, and they were both in the office and they're about to sign, and then all of a sudden everyone leaves and they're like, what's going on? And then there's whispers and they find out that they mistakenly had the wrong cap number, and so the cap was actually less than what they had budgeted for. And so somebody needed to give back some money. They need to figure something out, and Nash just like right away was just like, oh, whatever it is, just take it off of mine and give it to Q. Like right,
Yeah.
like no questions asked, no nothing. And Quentin Richardson was just like, yo, I never forgot that. But he also just talks about how great of a leader Steve Nash was. So it's just cool to hear them tell stories. But all of those really good watching. Fell down that wormhole. What else have I been? I've been watching just a lot of stuff like that, man. I watched some crazy thing last night on. It was like a 2-hour interview with like all the dudes, the behind the scenes dudes of Rockefeller Records. So forget about no Dame Dash, no Jay, obviously, no Kanye, but like it was Biggs. It was like all the guys you hear get shouted out in songs, right? So it was like Biggs, it was Young Guru, hip hop, right? Like Lenny S, like it was all those dudes, right? And then at the end they bring out like Jim Jones came out, Freeway, your man's Freeway came out.
guy.
That was cool. Chris and Neef. And they just tell like good stories about the early days of the rock, and there's so many like interesting tidbits. And at first I looked at it and I was like, holy shit, this is 2 hours? I don't know if I'm gonna watch this. And I'm like, well, what else do I have to do? And then 2 hours later I was like, oh, I was entertained. A lot of good stories. But the biggest thing I want to bring up from that, Webby, to which I didn't know, they were laughing and then kind of backtracked because they didn't want to make Memphis Bleak look bad. But they were saying like Memphis Bleak passed on so many bangers they tried to give to Memphis Bleak, and he like turned down the songs. Like they tried to give him the song "Whoa," he passed on that beat. They tried to give him "Uchi Wally," he passed on that beat.
That's
they
probably
tried to give
smart
him
in hindsight.
True. They tried to give him what was it? You Don't Know, maybe. Maybe
really?
You Don't Know. I think it was like it was just so many bangers they tried to give Memphis Bleak, and they're like, yeah, man, Bleak passed them up. Flip Side, maybe.
Oh no!
Like so many. They talked about making Flip Side and like how Freeway was like the nicest guy. Guru was like, yo, oh no, Just Blaze was there as well, and Just Blaze is a character, so that was good watching as well.
Blaze is amazing on Twitter, man. He's great.
Good watching, man. I mean, lots of stuff out there, lots of stuff to watch, lots of stuff. We'll take your recommendations. What have you been watching, Webby? What else have you been on, man?
What else have I been on? Contagion. You know what? So, like, I've just been kind of vacillating too between Netflix and Prime. So, let me see what I got here on the what's on Netflix here. So, because I've been curating a little list of things that I need to watch. So, obviously, these are ones that I've got on the come up here. So, Godfather 1 and 2.
Okay.
Because if you haven't seen those movies, you need to see them. My wife has not seen them, so we are going to be watching those. Sicario, I've seen 4 times. I'm going to watch it again. Sicario is an absolutely unbelievable movie. Needs to be watched by everybody. Let me see. What else? Let's see. I'm just on the flicks here. What else?
I hear you. I like that you've been on movies, and I think that's like the interesting side of all this, because I haven't done the movie dive yet.
Yeah.
I'm still on the like tiptoe of, oh no, you should probably just start watching a bunch of movies and a bunch of series because we might be here for a while.
See, my series, like, did you watch Cheer?
No. I've heard that's good.
You know about Cheer, though.
I know a little
Okay.
bit. Give me a little pitch though. Give me a little
Okay.
pitch.
I'll tell you what cheer is. Did you ever watch the junior college football show? Last Chance
Oh
U?
yeah, Last Chance U. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, this is
Yeah.
Last Chance U, but for cheerleaders. So
Okay.
it like
I'm in. I'm
it'll
in.
it'll
It
follow
sounds hilarious.
different girls and guys that are in this cheerleading, like this tiny school in the middle of nowhere,
Okay.
Texas, that wins every year, and
Okay.
they follow the like just the people who have good background stories,
Hmm.
and you really get to know them. But the thing is a all the cheerleaders, the females are super fit, and just about every episode somebody suffers a catastrophic injury.
Oh, jeez.
It's incredible.
Jeez.
So
All right, I'm in. I'm
it's
in.
it's awesome. It's a really good show, and if you like that kind of style of that Last Chance U at all, this is really good, and it's even better because it's not like with those football shows the coaches were always dicks and
Yeah.
like terrible people. The coach in the cheer show is really good.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm here for that. I'm here for that. That sounds like something I'd be into. I like those kind of like reality shows where it's like behind the scenes and you're following someone through a season.
Yes,
Like I'm always in
yeah.
on those.
I'm
those
in
type
on
of
that.
things.
I'm in on that big time.
Hit us up on the socials. Send us your recommendations, what you guys are watching. Make fun of what we're watching because, hey, I know, make fun of me for watching the fuckery that I watch. I know. But let us know for sure. We want to open up this conversation, especially during this time where we need a laugh. We need more things to watch and put a smile on our faces. So hopefully we provided a little bit of an escape for you guys, even if it was just for a little bit. But again, as Webby said, man, continue and hit us up on the socials in between, and we'll talk shit to you in between for sure on Twitter. If another Raps when the Raps Sixers game's on, don't worry, I'll be adding Webby
No.
whenever that game's on
No, I won't
for
will
sure.
not be watching Game 7. I will not be watching Game 7.
On blast.